Hi guys, and welcome to Terminal Velocity. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 Nintendo 64 games. This is Nintendo's first 3D console. But before we get into that, if you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe and comment on my videos. Number 10. The original Paper Mario. Paper Mario is a unique kind of sequel to Super Mario RPG, and it isn't really related, but it's kind of the successor of it. It's an RPG where 2D sprites in a 3D world. It's very fun, and it's a good game, and it has a pretty good story and overall great music, good characters, and great visuals are kind of the best part of the game, the visuals and good dialogue. Just in general, this is a good RPG for people who like Mario RPG or the newer Paper Mario games. Number 9. Donkey Kong 64. Donkey Kong 64 is probably my favorite Donkey Kong game as of right now, and it's the only 3D Donkey Kong game. It's very interesting as it has different characters that make the game a completely new experience, and it's very similar to Banjo-Kazooie, but it did come out a little earlier, and in general I think it is a better game. And this game is definitely one of the best 3D platformer games on the console, and maybe best Donkey Kong game ever. Number 8. Mario Kart 64. Mario Kart 64 is the second ever Mario Kart game, and the first one to be in 3D. In general, this is not the best looking Nintendo 64 game, and it doesn't really have too many 3D aspects. It looks more like a 2D game, but in general, it is one of the better Mario Kart games, and it's a really great game. Definitely recommend it if you haven't played it, and you can, like, you have something to play it on. And just in general, it's a really fun racing game to play with other people. Number 7. Smash 64, or the original Super Smash Bros. This is where the famous Smash Bros series all started. And while it's definitely not one of the best games in the Smash series, it's still a very fun game. It has a lot of important characters, and while it doesn't have nearly as many as some of the newer games, it has all the basic characters like Mario, Samus, Ness, Pikachu, Link, all those, and just in general, it's a really good game, fighting game, and it's a lot more fun if you play it with other people, if you can. It's a great game. Number 6. Star Fox 64. Star Fox 64 is one of the best Star Fox games as of right now. In terms of gameplay, it's one of the best, and also graphics. Graphically, it's one of the best looking Nintendo 64 games. It's also a very fun game, and if you are a fan of Star Fox and haven't played it yet, which is not very likely, but it's still a great game, and if you just like space games or like Star Wars, then you might really enjoy this game. It's a great game, and it's kind of more arcadey. Number 5. Diddy Kong Racing. Why is Diddy Kong Racing ahead of Mario Kart 64, you might ask? Well, in general, I like this game a lot more than Mario Kart 64, mostly because of the open world nature of it. And while in general the races are not open world, the main hub world is open world, and you can just drive wherever you want to go, and it's really fun. And while it definitely doesn't have as large of as well known of a character roster as Mario Kart 64, it it's still a really, really fun game. Number 4. Mario 64. Mario 64 is one of the most well-known games of all time, and maybe one of the best Mario games of all time. Mario 64 is probably the best 3D platformer on the series, even ahead of games like Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, and other great ones. In general, this is an amazing game with a large hub world and a lot of interesting levels where you collect stars. And just in general, if you're a Mario fan, I definitely recommend this game. It's super fun, and it's one of the better Mario games. So, I definitely recommend it. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zelda games, and while it isn't at the top of this list, it still is an excellent game with a lot of interesting things with the masks and transformations, and just in general the overall dark, the world is about to end, and it's like a very dark game compared to the other Zelda games, and it's an interesting change of pace. And just in general, the masks offer a large amount of new abilities, and the time mechanic is very different. I definitely recommend this for a traditional Zelda fan. Number 2. Goldeneye 007. Goldeneye 007 is one of the best first-person shooters ever. While it's definitely not like the best, there are definitely better ones. It's probably the best one on the Nintendo 64. It's very fun with different missions, and it's overall a very well-controlled game. Not like some of the other games on this, since the controller is very hard to make these kind of games work. But in general, this game is a very great game, and it's very immersive, and it has a great story, and really great battles, and just overall like the sneaking inside and doing spy missions is very fun. Next up, we have some honorable mentions that barely did not make this list. And in this, we have Bomberman 64, Perfect Dark, which is a great first-person shooter, F-Zero X, which, while not being the best F-Zero game, it's still a very fun experience, and Banjo-Kazooie, which is an amazing game, as well as Doom 64, which barely didn't make this list and is one of the best first-person shooters on the console. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is the highest rated video game in history with the score of 98 on Metacritic. This is an amazing game with different exploration, items, characters, story, music. It's just a great game in general. And while there are a few tiny parts where it can be a little bit annoying sometimes, in general I can definitely see why it's the highest rated game ever. It's really fun, it's fun to play again, and this isn't a Zelda Versus, but it kind of feels like that. But it's just a really great Nintendo 64 game and a great Zelda game, considered one of the best in both of those categories. So what did you think of this list? What are your favorite Nintendo 64 games? Be sure to tell me in the comments below, and just tell me what kind of console you grew up with as a kid. That's pretty interesting to know, and what games you played. Not even if they're Nintendo 64, they can be anything. But anyway, thanks for watching Terminal Velocity, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!